materials that is required for our tutorial. We need one piece of tube. This tube here is in 8mm and what I've chosen here is ruby in color. We have many colors in our store. It all depends on which is your favorite colors. You can try them on your own. But I have selected my favorite dark red ruby color for this tutorial, and we need a packet of crystal dust. This is Swarovski crystals in cyan color, and I need just one magnetic clasp. This one here is in 8mm hole. How you use this is just pulling them and it will lock up when it touches, and if you give it a slight turn, it has a lock-up catch that can safely secure your magnetic clasp. And if you prefer something that is thinner, you can use this 6mm clasp that we have in the store. This one is gold plating, silver plating and rose gold plating. It comes in smaller holes in 6mm that I mentioned. But if you want to use the 6mm clasp, you will have to use a smaller tube. By pulling your tube more, you will get a smaller diameter. And not forgetting, we will need some glue. What I'm using here is our in-house double glue. I've tried many glues. In fact, this is one of my best choice because it dries fast, and the best thing is that it secures, it reacts with this material tube here, and it secures very well when it's dry. And we definitely need a pair of scissors to cut the tubes once it's ready. Okay, now we can begin our tutorial. Alright, before you put the tube into your magnetic clasp, you need to give it some pulling. Now if you're using the 8mm clasp with an 8mm tube, you do not need to pull a lot, but you still need some slight pulling, because in that way you actually use less crystals, so there's some savings of crystals over there. So make sure you cut straight on one side, and you need to fill up your magnetic clasp with glue. Now this magnetic clasp that I'm using here is 8mm, like I mentioned. One part is deeper and the other part is more shallow. I usually begin with the part that is deeper. So turn to the deeper side and apply your glue on the side of the wall. Just give it a turn. Make sure the side has all the glue. And then the circumference of the base. Just the circumference of the base, because otherwise there will be too much glue and it takes a long time for the tube to dry in. Give your tube a slight push and then just put it into your clasp without squeezing. Just push it right to the base and then leave it to dry thoroughly before you put in your crystal dust. Once this is dry, now you can fill in the tube with the crystal dust. Before you fill out crystal dust, just give it a slight pull again to make sure that the diameter is the same as the clasp that you are using. Take the ends, open up your crystal fields and pour it from the packaging. measure using your wrist to make sure that the size is just nice for your wrist. If there's not enough, just fill up with more. And then re-measure this, right? Just make sure that the size is right. Okay, once you have measured your size, and you will need to cut your excess tube away. The average size of a lady usually is about 18 cm. It's up to you whether you want to wear it tight or loose. Now when you cut the top, make sure you leave a small air gap above the crystal field and not cut way up to the brim. Cut straight. You can tell that there's an air gap on top of my crystal field. Okay, I didn't fill up to the brim. Now this is to ensure that when I fill up this part with glue, it will not contact directly with my crystals, because once the glue backflow downwards and touches the crystal will get blurred. That's the reason why we need an air gap over here. So we apply crystals onto the base of the magnet clasps on the other side. Because this part here is more shallow, so when I apply glue, I do not apply on the wall, I just apply it onto the base. And before you glue it onto the other side, just make sure you lock. Make sure you lock this part, because that's where you want to fix your position when you close up. So give the other end of the tube a push, and then just hold it there. This is the position that you can hold it there until it dries. Alternatively, unlock this part. And find something that can elevate your bracelet so that the crystals stays in position without touching the side of the magnet clasp that is still wet because of the glue. And once it's dry, this is done. That's it. If you're using the 6mm clasp, you will need to give your tube a lot of pulling. It should be more than 10 times. When do you know when to stop? It's when you pull your diameter the same size as the clasp that you'll be using. So I have a sample of the one that I just pull many times. You can see the difference here. Can you see? The red one is before pulling and the black one is after pulling. Can you tell the difference in the diameter? So when do you know when to stop pulling? You can see that the tip here should fit into the clasp with the same diameter as the hole. So you just need to fill up glue on this side and then just attach it in, let it dry. Once it's dry, you fill up with your crystal fuse, and on the other side you fill up with glue on the base and then just stick. It's a thinner version, so you just need to lift up and clip it down. Let's take a look at the one that we've just done. It should be dry now. It's dry. So